Sandro, thank you for being the show. We named it in the beginning was Now Connections. Oh, sorry, forgot the name also properly. It's very recent. So, Wow Connections Now. This is about transforming the energies of body, mind, and heart. As you might have heard of the energy law of transformation, if you remember that, can you share with our audience here what that might be?
Yes, thank you so much, Ravi. I'm happy to be a part of this. So the law of energy is that you cannot create it, you cannot destroy it, you can only transform it.
Yes, thank you. That's the idea came, transforming the energies of body, mind, and heart. And to our listeners and even to each one of us, whatever it means to them, we are not asking people to think that way only, because some of the wise people have said before, each word in each language has at least 5 or more meanings. So imagine so many languages have different meanings. And one of my mentors shared, if you're thirsty, does it matter if you call it water or chemistry name H2O or agua in Spanish? And by the way, what do they call in Germany? Water.
Wasser.
Wasser. Is that right? Okay. Yeah, in Hindi and Indian language, they call it jal or pani, because India has 20 some actual languages, you know. So I don't know all of them. I only know in two only. So, but if you're thirsty, the idea is to drink the water, more than likely to quench your thirst. If you want to take a shower, you take a shower with the water, not with the petroleum products or acid, right? So that's where we're going today. And we're going to call this show now slightly differently. Wow Connections Now with Sandro and Ravi. Thank you.
Yeah.
When you hear the word wow, what's the first thing comes to your mind, Sandro?
It's something exciting that happens, something that you want to look at.
Great, great. And there are several meanings come to me also in addition to this. You got some ideas, say, wow, or something happened in your life and you didn't do much of it and just came to you, wow, some idea comes, or you solved a problem. Hmm? And right now I'm looking at all the problems and opportunities. I'm going, wow, what is the universe sending me? That changes my attitude. It's not true all the time. I wish it was, but it's not true all the time. So if I may share, I'll use also one more thing. So forewarn yourself. I think we talked about it a little bit before we started this video, but for our audience also, sometime you may have a question, we're discussing something, and Ravi will pause, and usually he will hum a tune, and that comes from different languages, different cultures, where Ravi was exposed to traveling within India, where he lived there till about 20 years, then traveling to New Zealand, their Maori culture there, Australian, I think they call it Aborigines, right? Some Native American, US where I live now, and many other cultures. And I met people from all over the world. I was going to college also here. And then now working with clients from different parts of the world, I learned from a lot of them. And I appreciate you also. You became a friend. And as you know, first you were a client, and now we've been friends for so many years. Thank you so much. So I might hum something, I might pause something. So since it's a video, people don't have to worry about it. If it's a podcast, we might have to have some background music, but I don't think it's necessary here. Do you think so? Background music?
Yes, no, I don't think we need it. Like, I tend to listen to YouTube videos while driving, so not watching them, just listening to them. And even if there are some pauses in there because the speaker, for example, drinks some water, and then you don't really see what's happening and you don't hear that he is drinking water. But still, it's a video that is not just 2 minutes. You see that it is a video that is 20 minutes. So I don't think that we should have some music playing while there's a pause.
So what is the purpose of this talk show, YouTube video, whatever we call it, is whatever benefits anybody, their life makes a little better, or they have some thoughts, they want to change their energy, or they don't want to do it. They have some, maybe some humor in it. So whatever appeals to them, it's totally okay with us. And we'll go from here. So well, now second word is connections. After a while, connections. See, our energy is always connected to something. Energy cannot be totally disconnected. Even when we are sleeping and a dream comes, something is happening, and we may or may not remember the dream next morning, but at that time, something was happening with energy. Even when we were in deep sleep and no dreams are coming, our breathing is happening automatically, heart is beating, energy is always engaged. Would you agree?
Yes, very much so. Uh, can I share a thought that I just had when you
Please,
explained
please.
that?
Yes.
Um, yes, energy is always um, focused on something. So if you look at the universe and the planets, they circle around the sun. So their energy is in some way through gravitation focused on the sun. And that tells us that energy has always been there. It's just, as we talked before, the form changed, right? So in the beginning, it was planets circling around suns. And then a couple of years later, it became humans who can pursue goals and who are actually, not in a sense, um, how should I say? They're in a way not inhibited by gravity. Of course, we live on a planet, and thank God there is gravity, so we don't float around in the universe. But our thinking is in a way not bound by gravity, right? We can pursue a goal, and we set that goal, and then we choose our energy to pursue that goal.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. This is the beauty of this interactions. We're coming from different perspectives, and hopefully many more people will join on this one-on-one, and some have already agreed to do that. So we'll be sending links to people that we know or may have a YouTube channel for this. So now connections, wow, connections. Now, idea being no matter what we have done in life, and it's also a personal story, I'm sure everybody else, and you may share this also in yes or no form. I definitely have regrets of wasting time, when I was younger, even now, sometimes getting older, lie down too much and turn TV on sometimes. But one thing I try not to do is surf the net too much, and because that white light, being on the smartphone too much, just keep the phone off after the work. And even sometimes our kids' wife complains, why do you have phone anyway? You don't, turn the volume on. I say, when I'm walking, I don't take phone with me, things like that, right? The idea is each person is making their own choices. And so wow, connection now we have a choice to connect our energy to whatever like a goal you might have. Or if I want to feel calm or peaceful or happier, or work on a project or job or cleaning the house or driving or playing tennis, it's up to me to invest that energy. Having said that, it's not always possible to take our energy and say, oh, okay, every time I'm going to put it there only, right? Because we have thoughts, as we discussed earlier before we recorded, our thoughts come and go, they keep changing. And we have some kind of pattern or loop that keeps on going in our mind. When we become aware, then say, oh, it's going to negative side or past what I can change. Now I bring it to present. So that's the idea of not necessarily being in the now. It's like it's a famous or fashionable things to do these way. Be in the now, we don't know what that means. At least I don't know what that means. There are moments to moments to moments. So idea will be choosing to put attention on this moment, what I want to do. If I have a certain goal, you may have a certain goal, all I can do is take steps now, right? In this moment. I can't take in the past. I can't take in the future. How do you feel about that? Past and future there.
Yeah, that that just makes sense.
Yeah. So this is the time I'll use this opportunity to hum a tune and then see what comes up and share the meaning. So in each breath, as and when become aware of it, and a good friend I've mentioned to you, but Gonzalo is from Spain, lives in the US. He always talks about this. He says, not if you become aware of your breath, as you become aware of the breath, you can become aware of your breath sometime or the other. Sometimes we have stress and we go, sometimes I need to take a deep breath, right? Happens automatically. Sometimes we consciously do some deep breaths to make us feel better. So in each breath, I can put my energy, which is almost sounds like impossible task at this moment. But I choose to become more aware of the breath and say, where's my energy going right now? First of all, breathing has energy. Everybody who's living has breath, right? That there's some kind of life force, higher power, source living within me 24/7, taking care of all that bodily functions, brain functions. Is that true for you too?
Yeah, and when you just said, um, if you may allow that I share that idea or that input that I had from somewhere. um, when you say you focus on your breath, and as you become aware of your breath itself is energy, isn't it? But we are not aware that our body simply breathes, right? So there's something like an automatic energy in our body. And so basically, you put energy into energy, which then actually allows you to become calm and focused.
Yes, that's a very good point. And this happened 2, 3 days ago with a friend. Uh, he said, I'm not being conscious of my breathing that's happening. And I asked him to just notice it for 30 seconds. So first he was kind of more mindful of this, and then he started breathing deeply. I could hear. I said, no, don't try to breathe right now. Breathing is happening. As long as we're living, from the umbilical cord is cut from child and child is born from mother, and then the last breath we have, everybody's breathing automatically, right? So he became aware of the breath, and then he says first he noticed was shallow, then was erratic, and then after a few more moments, we did this twice, by the way, 30 seconds each, and the second time we did it, he says it became smooth and he felt calmer. Such a wonderful practice or idea or concept that anybody can do. And what we've discovered, and scientists have discovered, it may not happen to you or everybody else same time in 2 times. If we have a lot of stress and a lot of things on our mind will go there and we won't be able to aware of the breath. But when we take few seconds at a time, be aware, invariably it goes to calm and it becomes smoother, right? So that's what I was humming about, in each breath, be aware. And like you said, energy putting into energy. Now, when we're doing that, did the mind go anywhere negative or the problems I have? Mine didn't. I don't know, yours might have.
No, in some sense, your mind cannot go anywhere because it is the mind, your thoughts are not bound to a location um, regarding their focus.
Yeah, beautiful. That's energy. Knowing this information. But a lot of people go into meditation. They say, "Oh, I can't meditate. I got too many thoughts." And some meditation teachers share with us that idea is to thoughts are there. Now I become more aware of them, just like the breath. You're aware of the thoughts, and thoughts will slow down, and they'll also leave you alone because you're not giving them any energy. We are used to giving energy to particular set of thoughts, especially the ones we like. We want to have more of that because that gives us a good experience of pleasure, maybe. And one we don't like, that brings us pain and suffering, we don't want them to come, and we can't control them. So initially, the meditation teachers teach us that just become aware of the thought. If you can't be aware of the thought, you're distracted, come back to the breath, because all is energy. As you mentioned earlier, thoughts have energy, emotions have energy. Body has a lot of emotions, energy and emotions. Thoughts have energy, and feelings have energy, right? There's something else in us, awareness or consciousness. When we start watching our thoughts, we realize, oh, that one is observing or watching or witnessing is different. It doesn't affect it. Just like you go watch a movie in the theater and you don't have a favorite actor or actresses, you don't care. Anyhow, just wanted to bring these ideas. And so now is the moment we can choose, not in the past, not in the future. May I share what that did to me last few days? So last few days, like any human being, also have regret what I did years ago in college. Maybe I had too much fun, studied less, right? And I had very few jobs, but I think most people have goofed off in the job, not being as productive. So I say, oh, I was nice to my employer, or got angry at somebody. So I was thinking about all these thoughts. Then the idea came, I can't change them now. It's in the past. I don't know anyone who's gone to past and changed it. So I said, now I focus and let those thoughts be there, but I put my energy in now that, wow, this moment is great. Hmm? I have a lot of opportunities to be aware of this moment. Luckily, my body is healthy and I'm able to play tennis at 71, talk to you, record this video, learning about technology from you, and sharing with some other people who are 85 years old. I'm really grateful for life itself. So bringing that thought, it changes my energy, not only physically, mentally, I feel better, and I'm not as much feeling the regret about the past. And also, I don't have any anxiety about future in that moment. I won't say I don't have any anxiety about future. Yes, about health and other issues it might be, even for children or grandchildren. Right? But in the present moment, focusing on the breath or energy or being grateful, the energy gets transformed. So, wow, connection to those kind of things. Now, transforming the energy of body, mind, and the heart. I just want to mention one more word about the heart. We all have deep desires in our heart, and they're not fulfilled, and they keep bothering us, taking our energy. They may be positive desires to for us and help others. They may be negative desires that never were fulfilled, right? Just being aware of that. And some of the teachers have shared with me, I call them sometimes masters or their wisdom of these wise people, they said, you don't have to get rid of all that. Just change your energy. Now my burning desire is to do this kind of things and share with people and ask people questions. And that makes me happy. And I feel like I'm doing something worthwhile, which is far beyond I've ever done. Thank you. So that's the desire, heart's desire. Would you mind sharing maybe in the last few moments what might be your heart's desire when fulfilled, and what would you like to do with your heart's desire now? I know some of them that you're working with them, I know, but the audience doesn't know. So is that question clear first?
Yes, the question is clear, and that thought came to me. In some religions, they describe God as the unmoved mover. And going back to that idea of observing your breath, like focusing on your breath, which means putting energy into observing energy, that's like you being the unmoved, right? You are observing something with your thoughts who are not located in space in some way, right? Because you could think of being at the beach while you're not in at the beach, right? So
Right.
your thoughts are not bound to a location. So you observe your breath, which means you are the unmoved who is observing the moved. And you actually, it's your breath that you're observing. So you are within yourself the unmoved mover because you observe while your breath moves.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And we're maybe about to wrap up. I'll sing, yeah, hum one more tune from these good, great teachers. I'm really indebted for life, I would say, because these ideas coming from them, and also transforming the energies that this body, this mind, and this heart has. So I'll say, and this is more like, that's not a song. It's just like some words, and I'll share the meaning in English also. And sometime later, if you know the meaning, you can, or you can, even now, if you want to say them in Germany, that'd be good to know. Even the unmoved and moved, it's about that. Hmm. 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 So what you shared earlier, the unmoved and moved, it says there is in every human being and every being, but the animals, we don't know they know this or not because they're programmed to act and think a particular way. Of course, they're changing and evolving, but in general, a dog will be acting like a dog, not like a snake. But humans can do from human to dog and behave like a snake, bite or something like that. Right? We have a choice. Huh? So there's something in us, that awareness or consciousness, the unmoved. Hmm? So what people think, like, I'm Ravi, and you might say I'm Sandro. Somebody says I'm Susan, I'm Bill, I'm Scott, I'm Ashok, I'm Gonzalo, right? That's the name. Your name belongs to the body, the mind, intellect, our personality, what we receive from our parents, as you mentioned earlier, our DNA and society, right? But there's also part of us is awareness or consciousness. Some people call it soul or spirit, whatever they call it, doesn't matter. As one wise man said, words don't matter. If you're hungry, you have to eat the food. Thirsty, drink the water. So words do matter. They have energy, but what they're pointing towards, that's what the real thing is, right? So that part of me is there also. I'm awareness or I'm consciousness, which is unmoving, which sees all the energies in the body and the mind and the heart and outside the body and mind and heart. If we can say so, that one, because some people say there's only oneness and that nothing is moving. It's very deep philosophy, and we're not going there because Ravi is not a guru or a master. We're sharing in common language here, just facilitating his journey, our journey, and someone else's journey through these interactions. So I'm the unmoved consciousness or awareness, which can observe what's moving. I'm unchanging consciousness, pure consciousness. I'm a powerful consciousness because in the consciousness, all the powers are already there. One power we can be aware of is our life force. If that was not there, we won't be talking, listening, breathing. And I'm always there, that consciousness, with or without the body. Like we said, body was not made by us, but consciousness was there. It took on a body. Anyway, just to wrap up with that idea, that unmoving part is in each one of us. When we become aware of breath, we can also see there's a gap between inhalation and exhalation, or a silence, or a quiet, or emptiness. or consciousness. Consciousness is here. If breath rises and falls, that doesn't mean consciousness is covered up, it's still there. Like wave in the ocean. It's part of the ocean, but if waves thinks I'm separate, I'm taking the water to the beach, sand, then there's an actual separation, but water is water. So this rises, these thoughts rise, emotions rise, but the substratum, the consciousness doesn't change. It can observe this happening. It knows that all part of it. So thank you for allowing me sharing that, because that can transform energy and take us to the source. Please share your thoughts, comments, or any questions that Ravi cannot answer. He may have to hum again and search for answers from universe and wise people and masters.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's actually so deep that um, can I say, it's not even about digesting your thoughts. It's more like breathing them in.
Love that. Breathing them
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, and like it's like taking a deep breath and then you're part of it. It's like when you're going on vacation and there is a lake or there is the sea. Only after you jumped into the lake or you jumped into the sea, you actually feel like you are now immersed in that vacation spot. That's the feeling that you have, that okay, now I really feel like I arrived at this place. You
Yes.
go to the coast and only after you went swimming, you really feel like you're a part of it. And so that's like, there's nothing to say about it, because basically I'm swimming in that lake or in that sea and I feel that I'm a part of it. Nothing to comment on it for me at
Yes,
that point.
beautiful. So we'll summarize this. One, again, for the audience, we're not able to put right now some names on it. So, wow, connections now. Wow, the connection we made, and the universe made connection through this person called Ravi, this body, mind, and intellect, to came up with these words, right? And transforming energies of body, mind, and heart, right? So to summarize some things you mentioned is that I love the thought about thoughts, breathing in and out thoughts. If it's breathing in thoughts, just like the breath, it'll exhale automatically. Let the thoughts also exhale and leave us. Why do we have to hold on to all the thoughts, right? They give us so much trouble. Thoughts from the past, thoughts about future, right? Thoughts about regret, thoughts about I'm so good, I've done so and so, and then our ego is hurt when somebody doesn't appreciate it, right? So we summarize with breathing, how to observe the breath, simple thing like that. Thought breathing in and out. What else that you can recall that was beneficial to you or maybe to the audience? And I'll share the same if something comes up.
Beneficial regarding
I mean, they might
what exactly?
benefit you personally in the way you think, the way you live, the way you interact with your children, or you're a consultant, by the way, a freelancer, right? And you work with a company in, I believe, in Switzerland, is it? No,
Mm-hmm.
Switzerland, right? Yeah, okay, Switzerland. So you interact with people, and you have had your own business. So how you interact with people, that's the main thing. How it might give you more happiness or peace, whatever you're looking for.
Yes. Well, the thoughts or ideas or concept that or wisdoms you just shared with us, they're kind of new for me, like looking at it from the energy perspective. So translating that to how I experienced how what I learned from you actually transformed and still transforms my life if I look at it from the perspective of energies, body, mind, heart energies, then it's very much about the ability to accept energies, not just in the sense that other people have those energies, which might be different from mine, but also in the sense that I accept all the energies that I have.
Yes.
And once you've done that, which actually means that you are able to observe these energies, you can start transforming energies in yourself, but
Hmm.
also outside of yourself, which at some point is no difference, right?
Yes.
Because you know, you have the energies that come from outside, they go in, you keep them, they go out, and so on. So basically, you can transform your energies by trying to transform other energies, which means that you might be confronted by other energies who are not welcoming you,
There
which
you go.
then means you should look into your energies and so on. So, yes, and that had a profound impact. Like I think I'm far from being a perfect human being, of course. Um,
Same here.
but what happened was that I now I live in an environment of people who are themselves patient, whom I can talk to in a very open manner, who accept my feelings, I accept their feelings. And it's not a problem to have feelings, and to express them or to show them. Um, and the people I'm surrounded with, which doesn't mean that I was actively looking for them. It wasn't like I had a checklist and these are the people I want. It was simply that transformation, that somehow brought them to me or attracted them. But I'm not a fan of that idea of the law of attraction, actually. So
Yeah.
don't understand it in that way. But in some way, it simply happens, right? You grow like a tree, you grow, and then there are birds coming, who sit on you. And it's not that you as a tree made that checklist and said, I want to attract that bird. The
Yeah.
bird simply wants to sit on a tree in some way. So it was an organic growth. And maybe that goes back to that energy part, right? As long as you grow, as long as you transform energies, take in energies, breathe in, breathe out, and so on, you will keep growing, and will your environment will change. But I want to stop here because talking about what it means that environment change might be the part of another video conversation.
Yes. Maybe clarify two things, please. First of all, when you talked about your transformation, first of all, I like to say what I shared with you over the years came from different teachers and even interacting with many clients. People say it's not mine. It came from many sources, universe, books, and some masters, some wise people. They were kind to me. They shared, in spite of being so imperfect. They loved me and shared those. And second thing, I like to clear with the audience who's maybe listening, that we had a client-coach relationship, for some time, maybe a year and a half or some years, something like that. And then we've been talking almost every week as a friend also. So that transformation is there due to the universe, my teachers, and basically your own inspiration to work on yourself, right? Your energies. No matter how we worked in the beginning, how we think now, that came from teachers, and that also came from a relationship. And so the ideas we're sharing now, that simple ideas, even though it seem complex, but the idea of breathing in, breathing out, and still love the idea of breathing in thoughts and breathing out thoughts, right? Being mindful and say, wow, I can also make these connections now in this moment. Hmm? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and to make things easier to understand in a more concrete way, like the wow connections now that I think of it, for example, in my business life, so to say, um, increasingly the people I worked with, um, they became friends in a way, like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, when you are younger, and you go into business, you want to make a successful business.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you go along, you get bits and pieces from the life of other people. And I don't know why, but I always got along well with CEOs, because maybe I was not in a way dealing with them as they were bosses, or I just dealt with them as human beings and intelligent human beings and so on. So as I moved along, and then after I got to know you and you shared the wisdoms that you collected or that were brought to you by other people, that part of that human connection became more important. And it didn't become more important in a way that the business became less important, but um, actually what I realized was that um, there are ongoing business relationships um, that are that actually benefit from just being human. Because I had a startup which failed, so there were people putting money in that startup, and that money was gone,
Mm-hmm.
poof, it was gone. And I felt really bad about disappointing these people, about uh, I tried hard, I didn't succeed, and their money was gone. And from my perspective, some of them put in a lot of private money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
simply because they trusted me. So there was this situation with one company that invested in my startup, and I was folding down my startup, and I was driving to their office, and half the way to the office, I thought, let's turn around. I just can't tell them that I stopped the startup. They will be so disappointed. But actually, I told them and I said, yeah, don't worry about that. How about you work closer with us? And I was surprised, but actually, failing in an honest way actually gave them trust, even more trust in what I do.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. See, people just get so worked up when they fail and they kind of give up. And like you said, you was thinking about you may be hurting them with money. And once you told them with courage, right? And now I understand you have a good relationship with them and you still work with them, right? Or maybe another company like that. So the idea is we learn from those. We are not a failure. We fail at something at certain time and space, but we learn, and that's what brings the future success. The transformation of energy happens, especially in the mind part and the heart part. That love flows from our heart. That the burning desire, as I remember in you, was unconditional love for everyone. Hmm? And that I see it flowing. So thank you for sharing so much. Only one thing I forgot to say, with most people will do that. You allowed us to share this video on YouTube channel or any other people with no pressure from anybody, not even you're my friend. That's you heart, from your heart you allow that, right?
Yes, most definitely, because there are lessons to be learned if you wish to do
Yes.
so.
And your story, our stories, and we may record more videos on the story. And another thing I want to bring it to our audience, whatever we said, we are not experts on any field. We are not psychologists. Just happen to do some business and life coaching here. You're a freelance consultant, but you're a father of 4 children. father of 2 children and 4 grandchildren, fifth one about to come. So, being a tennis player, being, husband, playing many roles. We all play many roles. So we're sharing our stories to find the common human elements, human values, and hopefully somebody will get some benefit. And our sense of humor, if it doesn't appeal to the audience, we're sorry and we're not sorry. We're having fun, right? We're not professional comedians. And please, if say some jokes and they bomb, we have no insurance against them. Try at your own risk. And your doctor or your daughter or grandchildren have told you not to use this information, please disregard all of it. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. We are no experts. We are simply energy transformers.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Anything else before we part today? And we'd love to record this again. Has been one of the best one that actually I feel my energy is transformed even during our talk today.
Yes, same with me. Thank you so much, Ravi.
Thank you. Till next time, have a great one and give love to children and everything. Thank you. See you
Thank
next
you.
time. Bye bye.
Likewise.